Drones and fighters. Combat drones and fighter and attack aircraft. Don't forget to press the bell to subscribe to the channel. If you liked the video, press like. Thank you very much. Eurofighter Typhoon EF-2000. The Eurofighter Typhoon EF-2000 is a 4.5 generation multi-role fighter manufactured by a consortium of companies from different European countries, Airbus Eads, BAE Systems and Leonardo Finmeccanica, which make up the Eurofighter Jagdflugzeug GmbH holding formed in 1986. Therefore German, British manufacturing, Spanish and Italian. The Eurofighter Typhoon is part of the Air Forces of Germany, Austria, Spain, Italy, the United Kingdom, Saudi Arabia, Oman, Kuwait, Qatar, and Australia. Typhoon entered service in 2003, had its combat debut in the intervention in Libya in 2011 by the United Kingdom and Italy Air Force, carrying out reconnaissance and air-ground attack missions. Up to 2016 there have been 600. The development of the aircraft began in 1983 with the program of the Future European Fighter Plane, as a multinational collaboration between the United Kingdom, Germany, France, Italy, and Spain. Disagreements about leadership in the project, functional requirements and engine selection led France to leave the project, and develop the Dassault Rafale alone. The first prototype flew in 1994. Typhoon's name was adopted in 1998, the year in which the first production contracts were signed. Design. The Eurofighter Typhoon is a multi-role fighter with two engines, delta wing, canard and a single rudder. It was originally designed as an air superiority fighter, but the improvements in the plane and in the weapons that it can carry by improving its air-ground performance make the Eurofighter a multi-role fighter. The Typhoon is a very agile aircraft, designed for aerial supremacy in close combat, being very maneuverable at both low speed and supersonic speeds. The Typhoon is driven by a digital fly-by-wire system that prevents the pilot from exceeding the aircraft's maneuverability limits. In the manufacture of Typhoon, light materials prevail, which give it a low radar signature, without becoming a stealth aircraft. It has an estimated life of 6,000 flight hours. Cockpit. The Typhoon cockpit has been designed taking into account the needs of users, where both the design and functionality have been created with the advice and feedbacks of military and test pilots. It is a glass cockpit, without conventional instruments based on watches and dials. It incorporates 3 multifunctional color screens that can be manipulated by keys, cursor from the control stick and by voice. It has a wide-angle head-up display with infrared, an accelerated or manual gas control, and you can enter commands by voice, as well as by the control stick. It also has a symbology system mounted in the helmet and a multifunctional information distribution system and facilities for the manual entry of information, and a panel in which all possible notices of the airplane called DWP are integrated. Flight instruments are usually located on the right side. Access to the cockpit can be done both by a telescopic ladder integrated into the fuselage and by an external ladder. The plane is piloted under the HOTAS principle, hands-on gas control and control stick, in order to avoid work for the pilots, in addition to voice control, called DVI, which is the first time that it is integrated into a military plane, can perform a round of 26 non-critical tasks to reduce the pilot's workload, increase safety and expand mission capacity. This voice control is dependent on the pilot, requires that each of them make a template with their voice. Eads is developing in Spain a voice module without a template. The Typhoon has an ejection seat of the Martin Baker brand, which is powered by 2 rocket engines. The pilot must wear anti-ag pants, which allow him to withstand loads of up to 9 g. In Germany and Australia they wear full suits that give them greater anti-ag protection on their arms and some more protection. In case of pilot disorientation, the flight control system allows recovery automatically and quickly by simply pressing a button. Pressing said button, the system takes control of the engines and flight controls and automatically stabilizes the plane until the pilot is ready to regain control. Typhoon also has an automatic low-speed recovery system that prevents exiting low speeds with a high angle of attack, which generates a warning, and if the pilot does not react, the system takes control of the plane and returns it to a safe situation. Navigation. Typhoon has inertial and GPS navigation systems. It has as aids an instrumental landing system and also assembles an improved system of notices of proximity to the ground based on a navigation system referenced by the land. It also has a multifunctional information distribution system called MIDS, which is known as Link 16. Defensive Aid Subsystem. The Typhoon Defensive Aid Subsystem, DASS, is called Praetorian. This system is capable of monitoring and responding to threats from both the surface and the air and can respond to multiple threats simultaneously. It has as a threat detectors a radar warning receiver, RWR, a missile warning system, MWS, and in the case of British Typhoon a laser warning receiver, LWR. As protection countermeasures in the case of activating any of the previous systems, there is a set of electronic countermeasures, ECM, a towed radar lower, TRD, in addition to chaffs and flares. Attack Subsystem. Typhoon has a good number of sensors, but to reduce the pilot's workload, the so-called sensor fusion techniques are used to display information easily and efficiently. The result of the fusion of all these sensors is called AIS, Identification and Attack System, where all of the data coming from onboard sensors through the MIDS and external sources such as AWACS and ASTER are combined. The AIS consists of two components, the attack computer, AC, and the navigation computer, NC. Radar. The Typhoon radar system is called Euroradar Captor. At the beginning of Typhoon's life, a mechanical version called Captor M was mounted, which underwent a series of improvements in control software to improve its air-to-air capacity. Currently, Typhoon is riding the Captor E, also called Caesar, Captor Active Electronically Scanned Array Radar, developed by a European consortium called Euroradar. The development was led by the company Celis with the participation of the Spanish company Indra. The development of a synthetic aperture radar is expected as part of the evolution of the ASA radar. The implementation of this system will give Typhoon a low probability of radar interception. Infrared Subsystem. The Typhoon Infrared Search and Tracking Subsystem, IRST, is called Pirate, Passive Infrared Airborne Track Equipment. It has been developed by the companies Thales, Celis, and the Spanish Tecnobit, which make up the first European consortium. It is possible to improve this system by adding an external orientation pod, for example lightning. Pirate operates in two infrared bands. When used in its air-to-air role it functions as a search and tracking system. In the air-ground role it functions as a system for identifying and acquiring objectives. It can also help navigation and landing systems. The results of this system can be displayed on the helmet, as well as on the head-up display. Pirate can follow up to 200 objectives. It has different tracking modes. These precision modes can track a greater number of targets or more precision, depending on the needs of the moment. Once a pirate target has been tracked and identified, it can help select a short-range missile, for example as RAM. The data offered by Pirate can be used in the armament system to increase the information offered by Captor, to allow Typhoon to carry out its most extreme missions. Engine. The Typhoon mounts two Eurojet EJ-200 engines. Each of these engines has the ability to provide a thrust of 13,500 pounds per dry foot and 20,230 pounds per foot with afterburners. The Eurojet EJ-200 engine is produced by the Eurojet Turbo GmbH consortium and is based on the Rolls-Royce XG40. The engine selection was one of the reasons why France left the Eurofighter project. Some features of the EJ-200 are: length 398.7 cm, 73.7 cm diameter, weight 990 kg, ratio push weight 6.11, 1 dry 9.17 with afterburners. The Eurojet EJ-200 has the possibility of increasing the thrust by 30%. You could add vector thrust nozzles, TVN, that are being actively researched and developed. With this and other improvements in new materials and pressure increases, Typhoon could reduce its consumption, increase its load and increase its range. Armament. Typhoon originally had only air-to-air combat capability. It has been through its evolution as it has been attaining ground and even naval attack capabilities, thus becoming a multi-role fighter. The Typhoon has 13 anchor points for mounting different types of weapons, external fuel tanks, even navigation pods or sensors. 5 of these anchor points are under the fuselage and another 8 under the wings. With all these anchor points and the amount of weapons available for the Typhoon, it is possible to make a large number of configurations. They can be used as air-to-air, short, medium and long-range missiles, air-ground missiles, anti-tank missiles, anti-radiation missiles, cruise missiles, missiles for nearby air support, as well as guided or free-fall bombs. It is also possible to mount anti-ship missiles. It also has a 27mm caliber Mauser pipes, which shoots at a rate of 1,700 shots per minute with a load of 150 bullets. The British Typhoon have suppressed this feature. Variants. In addition to the production and development test versions, Typhoon has different versions due to the constant evolution that has been undergoing since its first delivered aircraft. In these versions their capacities and characteristics have been increased. The successive versions have been labeled as tranches and within them minor evolutions as blocks. Tranche 1 appearance with the initial characteristics of the plane. It contains blocks 1 to 5. Tranche 2 blocks 8 to 15. Tranche 3. Because of the crisis it has been divided into A and B. We are currently in Tranche 3A block 25. It was also speculated initially with a navalized version for use in aircraft carriers for the Royal Navy, but the United Kingdom opted for the F-35, of which is a manufacturing country. In response to a request from India, a naval Typhoon was made, but the modifications to the wings mean that it loses maneuverability and is not very competitive with respect to the French Rafale, American Super Hornet, Swedish Gripen NG and Russian MiG-29 and Su-33. The naval version allowed the Typhoon to operate on large aircraft carriers, with a short exit but recovery by rest, therefore not suitable for the Spanish aircraft carrier Juan Carlos I that needs vertical landing aircraft. Combat performance. Typhoons can be in air combat similar to the F-22 and F-35 without being totally stealthy to the radar and have lower electronic aids. With the existing public data it is difficult to establish a comparison, but the results of some simulated air combat exercises between dissimilar aircraft are known. Thus, in June 2005, the British Northeast had a casual encounter between a training Typhoon with 2 American F-15s. The meeting was used to perform a simulated combat, in which the Typhoon was able to dodge the 2 F-15s and place themselves in firing position. In March 2008 during the NATO Typhoon meet, Eurofighter from Germany, Italy, the United Kingdom and Spain faced F-18, Mirage F-1 and Avenue 8B Harrier Spanish and F-16 Portuguese. The Typhoons won all simulated matches without losing losses, even in numerical inferiority. In the training carried out by NATO in the Canary Islands at the end of 2009, 2 Spanish Typhoon would have managed to take down 7 of 8 North American F-15s. Eurofighter GmbH ensures that your fighter has a higher turning speed at both subsonic and supersonic speeds and acceleration than F-14, F-15, F-16, F-18, Mirage 2000, Das Ultrafale, Sukhoi Su-27 and MiG fighters -29. Operators. Germany. Orders 143. Delivered 55. Saudi Arabia. Delivered 6. Orders 72. Austria. Orders 15. Delivered 15. Taste. Orders 24. Spain. Delivered 60. Orders 73. Italy. Delivered 62. Orders 96. Kuwait. Orders 28. Oman. Orders 12. United Kingdom. Delivered 83. Orders 160. Drones and fighters. Combat drones and fighter aircraft and attack. Thank you very for watching the video.